Is it still going?
The amount of preservatives used in our everyday food is increasing tremendously. Preservatives contribute to many health problems, and this is why we should cut them out. I believe that you should be aware that everything that is in your food. Do you ever take a look at the ingredient label? No? Well, you should. Yes? Do you know exactly what all those things are? I feel comfortable speaking about this topic because I have researched this and I am now trying to cut these out of my everyday diet. During this speech, I will cover why preservatives are used, what some ingredients are, and why you shouldn't consume these chemicals. I will speak of different studies that were done, and I will first discuss with you what preservatives are, and why they're put into our foods. Preservatives are an additive in our food that gives it a longer shelf life. It also helps it not spoil so quickly. So yes, the number one reason on why preservatives are in our food is for the shelf life. Why do preservatives give food a longer shelf life? Because even bacteria is scared of preservatives. It won't touch it, so why should we? Almost all of our food has some kind of preservative in it, other than organic food. How do you know if your food contains these preservatives? First step, look at the label. Common names found on product labels are ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, citric acid, sodium benzoate, BHA, BHT, EDTH, tocopherols, which is vitamin E, calcium propionate, sodium nitrate, calcium, and potassium sorbate. The list really does go on, but if you're like me, you probably have no clue what these are. This is why I started researching this topic. I wanted to know what I was consuming and what these preservatives were doing to my body. Next, I will go over what some of these ingredients actually are and what health problems they could cause. Here are some examples of preservatives and what they do to your health. Sulfates. Sulfates are preservatives and antioxidants you should be aware of, only if you are allergic to these, but also if you have asthma, these can contribute to many harmful things. They are in dried food and wine, and if you are allergic to these, you can have a very bad rash and allergic reaction. Next, I will go over sodium nitrate and nitrate. Sodium nitrate is a chemical put into most cured meat. Sodium nitrate is in processed foods like hot dogs, bacon, and it is said to raise your chance of pancreatic cancer by 67%. In the website organicconsumers.org, it states that the USDA tried to ban sodium nitrate in foods in the 1970s, but was preempted by the meat processing industry, which relies on all the ingredients as a color fixator to make it look brighter and just more visually appealing. This website also states that leukemia also skyrockets by 700% every time you eat a hot dog. So these chemicals are putting in our food are toxins that our body does not need. Finally, I'll talk about fats, salts, and sugar. Many people don't think that these are preservatives, but they actually are. These are hazardous to our health in many ways. It makes us gain weight. It just makes us get sick more often. Our sodium levels in food remain so high that one food can take up your daily intake of sodium according to myplate.gov. I will now discuss what foods you should cut out of your diet to help reduce the chemicals you are consuming. The top 10 processed foods are chicken nuggets, white rice, French fries, canned fruits, potato chips, soda, foods with high fructose corn syrup, processed meat, fast food hamburgers, and sugary cereals. Many people ask, why should I help myself consume less of these preservatives? What foods shouldn't I eat? Those 10 I just listed off of. Think about how much work it takes to bring this food to here. How long did it take? Longer than the food should have lasted? I myself am trying to cut out as much processed food as I can, but my biggest problem is white rice and chips. I know this can be hard, but your body will feel so much healthier if you do this. You could cut your body fat percentage tremendously if you eat less processed foods. There is a diet, like a challenge. My principal actually did it. It's where you can only eat just the food that you can identify. So you can't, if you can't identify exactly what's in your salad dressing, you can't eat it. You could only eat the lettuce and stuff like that, and just the meat. But you can only eat it if you can identify exactly what it is and all the ingredients in it. And the top 10 foods came from the HuffingtonPost.ca. Okay, as you can see, you probably consume most of these products, but these are huge contributors to some of our health problems you have or you could have in the future. If you cut these items out totally or just consume less than you usually do, you could help your health a ton. Finally, I'll go over some studies that were done over preservatives. There was a book written about a Twinkie and how it was processed and what all goes through of making a Twinkie. The book was called Twinkie Deconstructed, My Journey to Discover How the Ingredients Found in Processed Foods Are Grown, Mined, and Manipulated into What Americans Eat. The author in the book is Steve Ettlinger, and the book started off with the daughter asking, what is polysorbate 60? Steve was very intrigued because he had no idea what this was, so he spent a long time researching these and trying to figure out where they came from, how they were made, how they were used, and why. I found this book on the Hawkeye Library website, and the second study was on the consumer awareness, safety, perceptions, and practices about food preservatives and flavoring agents used in packaged and canned foods from South India. This was in the Hawkeye Library as well. It was called Open Access Article, and the source was National Journal of Community Medicine. In this study, they asked 126 people to fill out surveys about what was in the food they were eating and if they exactly knew what it was. 123 people participated, and there was some awareness, but not as much as they hoped for. The knowledge was also not all correct. About 51.2% was women and 48.8% were men, and then the ages were about 18 to 30. The commonly bought packaged foods from these participants' house were chips, ketchup, packed juices, pickles, cheese, breakfast cereals, and canned meat and fish. Okay, so today we discussed why preservatives are put into our food we eat, what are some ingredients in these products, why these chemicals should not be consumed, what you should cut out of your diet, and what different studies were done on these. As I mentioned earlier, you should always check your label and make sure you know everything that's on it. So will you make the change in your diet, or will you let these chemicals continue to hurt your body and increase your cancer risk? I know it's hard, but together we can make a difference in our own health and others by letting people know what are in these chemicals.
No, it's fine.